I know you're over there. I know. I'm trying. Have I gone too far past it? Oh yeah. Okay. Hello everybody, welcome to Chaz Draycott Media and welcome to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Welcome to Salzburg. This is a wonderful airport in Austria because today, as you've seen by the title by now, we're doing another charter flight from my website. Thanks very much to Stephen Dicey who has chartered this one. We're going to be going from Salzburg today down to Tivat in Montenegro. Now Tivat is an airport that my friend Drew, who flies for EasyJet, has mentioned quite a lot. To be honest, he doesn't ever shut up about the place. And it's apparently quite a challenging approach. It's a bit of a sort of swoop round on itself and there's a bit of RNAV involved, so I'm looking forward to doing that. But thank you very much to Stephen for chartering this. Don't forget you too can charter flights and choose where I fly from and to. There's obviously limitations and Stephen has very kindly stuck to those limitations for today's flight and I'm really looking forward to it. I just wanted to show you quickly around this airport. Now Salzburg is obviously very famous because it's tied with the Red Bull energy drink brand and obviously all of their sort of let's say outlays. Outlays, is that the right word? Anyway, they've got this really cool terminal over here. Now, I'm not sure about you, but I think that this is modelled really, really well. They've got a lot of really cool aircraft and things. There's Alpha Jets, extras, even a P-38 and all, which is just amazing. But that is actually a better modelled F1 car than most of the cars that you'll actually see in the actual F1 games, I think. Really, really cool that is, and it's a very, very pretty airport as well. I mean, look at the hills and the mountains. We've got quite low cloud today to deal with. It's a very cloudy and gloomy day, but this airport and this scenery is delightful. Really do like this one. I think that Microsoft Flight Simulator looks best in these sorts of conditions anyway, where it's a bit gloomy and a bit of broken cloud about. This is our steed for today, Delta Alpha Bravo Zulu Echo. I've got my scratch pad thing as always. We're not going to be on VATSIM today, we're just going to be doing this as an offline flight, but we're going to be flying this wonderful little beast. Now I've previously flew this to Cologne, I think is where I last left it, but yeah, now we've moved it down to Salzburg. I keep wanting to say Innsbruck for some reason. We've moved it down to Salzburg and we're going to get things underway. I'm going to grab my checklist and we are going to start. Get it on the right page, Chaz, come on. We're going to start going through everything. So we go up top and we put batteries 1 and 2 on. External power gets connected. We then have the APU master switch. Give it a few seconds and then we press start and then add APU bleed. Crew oxygen supply on. We then want the adheres to nav, left, right and then center. Nav and logo light comes on. We're going to put that on 2. And then the strobe light goes to auto. We put the interior lights as required. Don't think we'll need a dome light or anything. We can still see, can't we? Seatbelt signs go on. No smoking signs go to auto. And then we arm the emergency exits. Landing elevation is set to auto. Cabin temperature is set. Fire tests. Let's do the fire tests up here, shall we? Hold this down. There won't be any beeps yet. I think we have to wait for a beep to come on. You'll hear a singular beep go ding in just a second. Let's go listen to the APU for a sec. Oh, actually, there's your beep. Stuff it. And then we hold that down. Then the beeps start working. So engine test there, engine test there. Beautiful. Then we do the fuel pumps on, left to right. And then we will get the flight directors and everything on in a moment's time. I don't know what this guy's signalling at me for. Not quite sure. Going back inside the aircraft then, we need to get everything ready to go. We need to import our plan from SimBrief. We need to get the QNH in here as well, which is 1007. Don't forget in the Phoenix you need to put this on both sides. I know that I'm a little bit late to the party in getting hold of the A319 and 21. Not going to be flying those just yet. I will be getting those in time, but just not quite yet. We then need to go down to... Nope, that's the wrong camera. I can't remember what I've got my camera set up for here. We need to go to the FMGC. We need to go to init, and then we'll do an init request, which will give us our flight plan route and everything. We need to do Eurowings. We are Eurowings 5 Charlie Delta today. As I've explained before, I'll often have just a single digit number and then my initials. Cost index is 25 for today, and cruise flight level is at 390 today. Let's go to the next page of init. 0 fuel weight. I need to clear some of these. Oh, okay. Normally doesn't that go in automatically? Strange. What is the block fuel for today? Let's check from SimBrief. Block fuel 6475, so 6.5 Pop that in there. And then do we get the 0 fuel weight? No. That's really weird. Why don't we... Oh, I know. I know why. Because I'm thinking of the fly-by-wire. Where's the bloody thing? There it is. Mass and balance. There we go. Load aircraft. We'll do it fast. Send it to the MCDU. And then if we go down to the MCDU, there is the 0 fuel weight. We need to put the block fuel in differently, though. 6.5, please. Ground services, we need to do GSX, so we need to get that boarding started. No jetways, let's operate the stairs. Salzburg Flughafen or Flughafen, and then we will request boarding. We're parked over here on stand Echo 3 today. Nope, that's the wrong clipboard. This is the problem when you've got two clipboards.
Passenger's bus is coming.
Good, we've got a bus on the way. We're going to be pushing back onto Mike, which is the little taxiway behind us just there. We're going to be then facing north, and then we're going to go on to Lima, and then down to runway 15, holding point Bravo for that. So we're just going to wait for the aircraft to get boarded. Look at that fancy little bus. And by fancy, I mean look at this little shed. Is that the passenger's bus? I love it. It's got no one on it. You can tell I've not got the GSX profile sorted, can't you? The tug's driving across the grass. Anyway, what else do we need to do? We need to go to our flight plan and we need to put in our departure and arrival. So I need my clipboard again. Come on. I can show you the charts on SimBrief in just a second. We're going to be on the Verda 2 Bravo departure. There it is.
Passengers boarding starting.
And then at Tivat, we're going to be on the Taz 2 Delta, RNAV runway 32 arrival. Taz 2 Delta, transition I think is Taz. So this is the plan, very straightforward, literally just down the coast. Yeah, approach Vias. Oh, was there a, is it Olivu? Yes, transition Olivu. Pop that in, see if there's any discontinuities. Wow, there's only one waypoint between top of climb and top of descent. Alright, let's just check that. Let's cross-check that with the plan page on here. So we can see on this, look, you turn basically back on yourself once you depart out of here. Make sure there's no funky stuff going on. Let's just zoom it in a little bit. Yeah, look, so you go around on yourself,
bus is coming.
Get down, and then you sort of pretty much visual it by the way that looks. IRS align in 2 minutes. Seatbelt and no smoking signs are on. Passengers are boarding. Aircraft is loaded. Oh, that's on the Phoenix side of things anyway. GSX has still got to do that. But yeah, getting ready to go. Not much else to say. So continuing on down our checklist, we've done the MCDU setup. We just need to do the perf now. So we need to do that on the iPad actually. There's another app up top. So we sync the load sheet, sync the live weather, and then calculate for runway 15. We'll get our V speeds. That's 127. Come on. Oh yeah, you need to send it to the MCDU, don't you? I'm bad at this. It's been a long time since I've actually flown the Phoenix, to be honest with you. We need to check the departure. That's another thing we need to do. So let's get the chart for the departure. So we're above 2160, above 4380. Verda at 10,000 or above. So let's put 10 in there. Get the aircraft to get us to 10 as quickly as we can. This guy's loving life down here. It might be his first day on the job, I don't know. As far as I know, we're all good. I think we're still being boarded, aren't we? Are there still people getting on? Let's have a look. Now the doors are closed, but I didn't hear the ding from GSX. Boarding passengers now, it says. Okay, so we'll just wait for that to be complete. So before we start, yeah, make sure windows and doors and everything are closed. Fuel quantities definitely set in the aircraft. Yeah, we've got 6460. We wanted 6,500. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're all ready to go. I think I've just realised what part of the problem is. Can you see the problem? You've got to manually open the doors on this thing. So I need to go to this, ground services, and I need to open these two doors, look. So they've not put any of the suitcases on. I think that thing's just patrolling around in the background on its own. But we've not had any suitcases on board yet. The passengers are on, not the suitcases. Oh, God. You can tell it's a while since I've done this, can't you? Let's operate them stairs. Get the stairs out of the way. Sorry about this, Stephen, but I hope you're enjoying the video so far and this look into getting things set up with someone that's not done it for a while. Still, I'm really excited to be back on Flight Sim. I've been doing a lot of other games recently and I've not really done any flying at all. I don't think I've done any flights since nearly the start of September, since my last charter actually, which you can see in this video, which is flight to Madeira, that was done by Jose Vieira recently. A bit of a twist to the ending of that one, but it's definitely worth watching. Are you alright there, mate? Are you having a good time? You're having a great time, aren't you? And that was the bong to say that it is done, so we will now begin preparing for pushback and departure. So these stairs, I'm pretty sure, will now disappear. Yep, there we go. And we've got our ramp operative here to come and give us all of the necessary guidance for pushback. So, let me move the VATSIM scratch pad thingy.
Hello, Captain.
Hello.
We are ready for pushback.
I'm so glad, because so am I. So beacon needs to go on. Oh God, really flew that up there then, didn't I? Beacon goes on. Thrust levers to idle. Thrust levers, parking brake, APU, external power disconnected. I'm pretty sure that goes away automatically. Yes. Tug drives up to the front of the aircraft. Not sure if it's one that lifts us or not. So we want to go nose left, tail right. We're going to face that way. Parking brake is off. Cool. Start at will, so we're going to turn the engine start switch to ignition. I'll show you so you can see it move on here. That little thing there. I'm going to start engine number 2. Almost getting motion sickness from this pushback. Right on to what is going to be taxiway. I think I said Mike.
Please set parking brake.
Parking brake. We can now start the second engine, so we're going to now turn on engine number 1.
Your tray table must now be stowed, armrest down, window blinds open, and seatbelt fastened. Further information regarding your safety on board can be found in the in-flight magazine. We hope you have a great flight.
Now, unless you were listening on something that's capable of a lot of bass, that last shot wouldn't really have made much sense to you. I also don't know if you can hear the safety announcements. I've tried to get them to work on OBS and get the audio through, but for some reason they just never do. We're going to wait for that to say available. I think it is actually. They're both spooling at the same, so I'm going to turn the ignition off now. Okay, let's get ready for taxi. What do we need to do for this? After start, flaps set, so we're going to go flaps 1. We're going to arm the speed brakes as well. We're going to get rid of the arm of that chair. I'm going to put predicted wind shear on now anyway, just cause. APU off, APU master switch off, APU bleed off. Anti-ace is required, ECAM set, or checked anyway. Runway turn-offs come on, but that's when we get to the runway. And we're going to put the nose light to taxi, not takeoff. Chaz. There we go. I think we're all good. We need to do a brake check when we get going. The route that we're going to be taxiing is just going to be Mike, turn right at what's called exit 3, then Lima all the way down to the end. So, parking brake is off. Spool up slightly on the power. Once it gets moving a little bit, we're going to do a brake check. Like this. Yep, all is good. Okay. Right then, we'll get out of here, shall we? We need to set our transponder. That's something I forgot to do. I'm going to go to auto and then TA. And we're going to go 2000. Flaps are down at 1, as you can see there. We're going to go auto brake max for takeoff. Whoa, I forgot how much this thing turns on the ground once you Give it a little bit of shove sideways. Okay, the ECAM has now gone blue at the bottom there. You can see there's a takeoff config test and cabin check, so we'll get the call there to the cabin. They'll give us a call back in a minute. We'll go left here. Really, really like being back in the sim. It's when I come back into it, I remember why I love it so much. Sometimes I must admit, I think because of how long flights take and how long it takes to set everything up and do it all, I think, can I really be bothered? But honestly, when you're in the mood for it, it's so rewarding. Hello.
Hi, Captain. The cabin is now secure for takeoff.
Not sure if you heard her, but she said the cabin is now secure for takeoff. Thank you, love. Those sounds from inside the cabin are just so cool, aren't they? They are so, so cool. Right then, let's do our takeoff config check. Probably... no, there's nothing I've missed there. We did set that we were going to go flaps 1 for takeoff, didn't we? Yeah, flaps 1, flex attempt 61. V1 is 127 today. This is where we're taxiing. We're on Lima, going to Bravo at the very end. We're not quite using full length of the runway today, but that's absolutely fine. We don't need to backtrack or anything. We're on flaps 1. Got everything set on here by what I can see. We are going to hold short at Bravo though. We are going to just slam it on the brakes here. Trying to be incremental on the brakes, but there's no chance when you've mapped it to a button. So we're going to come to a stop here for just a second. Parking brake's going to go on, and we're going to do our final checks before we take off. So we're going to go to TARA on the transponder. We're going to lock the cockpit door because I forgot to do that earlier on. Cabin crew has been advised, overhead panel, all that la-di-da has been done. Terrain on ND, don't really need that, do we? I suppose there's a bit of terrain about. Transponder also are on, altitude reporting, TCAS, TARA, ECAM memo, da-da-da. It's just lights now. Landing lights on, runway turn-offs, nose light to take off, strobe to on. I said strobe to on. Yeah, as far as I know, we're all good. So we are going to whack the chrono on. Going to put this one on as well. Parking brake's going to come off, and we're going to line up on runway 15 here at Salzburg. First time I've ever flown from Salzburg as well. Thanks again, Stephen Dicey, for chartering this flight. This is why I enjoy them. It's very, very different procedures. It's airports I wouldn't consider. I think the block time today is 1 hour 40 minutes as well, so it's not a particularly long flight, but it's long enough to be interesting. You can see the terrain on the ND there actually now really coming into effect. Look, all this telling us there's hills to be worried about. We don't want the hills to be alive with the sound of CFMs. They certainly will be any second now though, as we line up onto runway 15. Big sheen across the runway, clouds off in the distance. We're not going to come to a stop, we're just going to power it up now. We're going to slowly build up to 50% thrust. Line the aircraft up. All looks good to me. Let's crank it. Whoa, big sudden shear to the left there on the steering. Sounded fantastic though. Hands still on the throttles. It's moving over to the right slightly. Having to nudge it to the left. Whoa, it's moving about a lot. V1, rotate. Positive climb gear up. I noticed in one of my videos recently someone commented saying it's never positive rate in an Airbus. You always say positive climb or something like that. Flight to the flight director. Turned a little bit aggressively to the left there actually. That's such a good noise. Okay, after takeoff, landing gears up, flaps retracted when we get to it. We need to disarm the speed brakes. Not quite on the flight director here. Now we start our turn round to the left, lever into climb. That's one of my favourite noises, when it just drops down a little bit on the revs there on those CFMs. Sounds so cool. Still flying to the flight director. Such a windy and twisty departure this is. Which one was it? It's the Verda 2 Bravo departure, isn't it? Look out the window, you can see some of the scenery below. Now we're told the aircraft to go up to 10,000 feet. Because we need to be basically above that at Verda. We're already at 4,200. All the restrictions on this departure are X amount and above, so as long as you're above that you can climb as quickly as you want. It says we're going to get to 10,000 feet actually before that waypoint there, which is Whiskey Sierra 626. I'm just trying to keep this little square, if you can see it, this little square inside that green cross. We'll keep the cross in the square. That's what I always mean when I talk about flying to the flight director. That tells you where to point the nose of the aircraft to get this path pretty much spot on. If you haven't, learned that before, or if I haven't explained that to you before. I know I explain it in almost every video, but I want to try and at least explain to people what I'm doing, so it adds a bit of context to all this that I chat. Can't see a thing, and that's why it's always interesting to fly instruments. I'm going to whack the autopilot in now, though. I enjoyed that. Very, very good. Let's do our check just to make sure. Nose light needs to come off. Runway turn-offs also need to come off. Keep the landing lights on until 10,000 feet. Keep the seatbelt signs on until 10,000 feet. Up through some cloud. Let's have some beauty shots. We're well above S-speed now, so we need to bring the flaps up all the way. We're getting to 10,000 feet now, so the aircraft is just going to hold altitude. And look at the conditions up here, it's gorgeous. Checking on the charts, this is the departure, so we've got to be above 10,000 at Werder. We've got quite a while yet. The aircraft is telling us to go into standard pressure, so we're going to pull for standard on both of these. And I'm pretty happy with that. Landing lights are going to come off now because we're above 10,000. Seatbelt signs are also going to come off. And very soon we're going to start our cruise, or climb, up to 39,000 feet. I'm probably going to do that now, actually. We're going to wind it on in here. Make sure that you can see that as well. 39, tell the aircraft to manage it. Let's climb. How cool was the growl from those CFMs then when that came in? That sounded mega. Really, really mega. So we're now going to head up to cruise altitude, 39,000 feet today. That's the speed limit exceeded. I think you're talking rubbish, son. Obviously we're above all the clouds now, so we don't have to worry about the hills or anything like that. We can remove the terrain from the ND. Yeah, you can see there, look, from Werder, plus 10,000, so 10,000 feet or above. Climbing at 2,500 feet a minute, or about 2,000 feet a minute now. Yeah, I'm really chuffed with that. Very, very tasty departure. That all went very well. Other than my little debacle with GSX and not knowing what order to do things in and forgetting about doors. But I think we are all golden now to head up to cruise, so enjoy some beauty shots for a bit. I'll catch you on the descent. I did just want to check as well, actually. I remember seeing on the plan earlier that top of climb is not far before top of descent. So let me go to plan on here, check where that is. So that is top of climb. Darza is then after that, and then top of descent. How long is between those three? So there's top of descent before Nera. There's Darza, I should say. So yeah, I think we're alright. We've got a long time between those three. It's just that because they came immediately after each other on the MCDU, I got scared that it was going to be like top of climb, then top of descent. But no, I think we'll be alright. We've got quite a while between all of those. So 25,000 feet now, and we're still climbing up. But as you can see, and as it normally is the case, there's no cloud up here. It's clear skies. And 39 is quite high altitude, to be fair. Going over some of the mountains here, as you can see. We're very much clear of those. Unlike my approach into Gibraltar a while ago, but we're not going to talk about that. Nothing else really to report, so enjoy the cruise, everyone. See you in a bit. So we're just getting to the top of descent now. We're about 25 miles away from it. We're just going to get the METAR at the arrival, which is going to be 1015. So what we're going to do is take it out of standard, 1015 very quickly, then back into standard. We're going to do the same over here as well. 1015. Make sure that matches. Go back into standard pressure. So QNH down there, as we've just put in, 1015. Temperature is at the moment 25 over 18, and then we need to have the winds, which are 300 at 6 knots. So 300 at 6. A speed error at Sorag is coming up. I'm not quite sure why that is. I'm annoyed at that. Sorag, it says, oh, we need to zoom that in. 223. I don't think that's particularly bad. Not sure. Either way, we've now got our information in. We need to go on the charts though and check what the minimums are. Straight in landing, LNAV. Oh, where's the RNAV? We're intercepting at 2,600, so we need to put that in. It's going to go in on here. Scroll it all the way down to 3,000, then change that to 1. Boom. And then when we start descending, we'll go for that. Minimums. Oh, I don't know whether I'll just go for radio minimums here. Are we a Class B aircraft or C? I can't remember. We'll go 1640 on the minimums. Flaps full landing it's configured for. Let's do our descent then. 2,600 feet. Throttles go to idle. Let's get this puppy down. Just going to go for the checklist and have a look at what we need to consider after this. It's just landing lights at this point once we've got all the rest of the stuff checked. Yeah, then it just comes into the approach. We're turning left now at Nera. Is it Nera or Nerba? Nera. See a little bit of scenery down there. Let's have a look actually on the charts how far along we are. You can see, look, here. It's a long straight line. It's literally just Darza and that's it. It's a very simple flight when it comes to flight plans. 54 nautical miles to Tibri, and that's where we're going to be descending, and then we're going to really slow it down and spin it in to Tivat. It's a small airport, there's not many gates at all. Actually, I'm going to go back on this and we're going to look at what gate we're going to go to today. You sort of taxi in this way on Alpha, and then there's lines that you sort of spin around on yourself and face the aircraft this way, like face it south. Let's give ourselves a bit of room, shall we? Let's go for 5. I'll put stand 5 here. We are going to vacate at Alpha. We're going to go right to the end. QNH is 1015. Awesome. That's written down and that's documented. Not much else to say. I hope you've been enjoying this one though, especially you, Stephen. Thank you again, Stephen Dicey, for chartering this flight today from, I keep meaning to say Innsbruck, Salzburg to Tivat. I'm really enjoying myself. It's great to be back in the Phoenix. So, descent will continue. I'll give you an update when there's more to look at. Some beautiful scenery on the way down here. We've got a lot of mountains to cover. There's quite a few hills actually on the way into Tivat. When I was looking around the airport at the start of the episode, just to make sure that all the scenery and everything worked, because I didn't want to repeat of Madeira, I saw there were a lot of hills to one side of the airfield. Unfortunately, we're not sort of diving down over those today. We're going south of the airfield and then back. You can see here actually we're about to fly over the airfield. We're not too far away from it at all. We're going to go in a straight line here and then turn back on ourselves and then line up at the very last moment to get into Tivat. We're still at 17,000 feet though, so the descent continues. Whereabouts is the air? Oh, click through the aircraft then. The airfield is just down there somewhere, I believe. I'm not going to be able to see it because of all of the cloud. What's our VAP today? Let's have a look at the approach speed. 135, so quite a high speed landing that one actually. It's not the slowest I've ever done. Usually you get a sort of landing speed of about, usually in the 120s when you're flying in the Neo anyway, but this is a CO with the CFM engines on it. As you can see here, we've been in the air for just over an hour. since we lined up and took off from Salzburg. I did have that chrono running until just a moment ago. Climb has shallowed out a little bit here, but that's because the aircraft is reducing speed. What it tends to do is it levels out for a sec, lets the speed drop, and then it continues descending down. We need to go out of standard pressure now. We need to go to QNH 1015, and we're getting below 10,000 feet, so landing light's going to come on, seatbelt sign's going to come on now as well. See, the speed has increased there, and now the aircraft's gone outside of that purple range. It's leveling out again to drop the speed again, so it's going to go sort of stepping down a little bit. Once more drag, so we'll put in some air brakes. We'll put 2 in on the spoilers, so it's at half, you can see, and we are going to drop considerably quicker now. Getting excited now. Getting excited. So we're on the RNAV approach for this. This is the RNAV runway 32 approach. Change the range on there just to zoom it in a little bit now. We've got to be above 5,000 feet at Olivu, 210 knots. I'm going to tell the aircraft to slow it down now to 200. I'm going to manage the speed from here. I'm going to go flaps 1. Can put some flaps in and slow her down a little bit. I've enjoyed this flight. This has been relatively straightforward. I'm not sure what I'm going to get wrong now for the final part. I've clicked landing system just to put that on. Can't remember what order you do things in with an RNAV, or which one of them you do use or don't use.
Hi, Captain. The cabin is now secure for landing.
Oh my god, I don't know if you would have heard her, but she's just told us that the cabin is now secure for landing. Scared the life out of me. Okay, so it's warning me that the speed brakes are still in, so I'm going to take them out. Speed brakes now out. We're back over the water a little bit here. I'm going to turn in and then head towards the airfield, which is just over yonder. So we go through this flat valley here, and then we swoop round to the left slightly when we get in. So, aircraft can manage the speed again now. It's going to try and bring us down to our VAP speed at 135. We can go flaps 2. Start really slowing this puppy down now. How far are we from the actual runway? About 13, 15 miles, I think. That's 10. Yeah, so about 13 miles from the runway. The speed brakes need to be armed now. Flaps are going to come down. We need landing gear coming down very shortly. Auto brake, we're going to go for medium auto brakes today just to make sure I definitely stop the thing. And in just a sec we're going to put gear down. I can see the final waypoint now on the ND, so gear down. Okay, gear is down. Next notch of flaps going in. And then, I believe, we can go flaps full. We are now flaps full. Just looking at what lights and things need to go on. I think we're all good. We've got auto brakes ready. Runway is now on our ND. Runway is not in sight because of that cloud, unfortunately. But as we continue to descend, we'll get below said cloud and be able to see past it. You see what I mean? We're coming in over this valley. It's a little bit flatter here. We might be just over this hill. Engines are spooling up slightly now. Runway should be just about here. Should see it very soon. Great scenic approach this. Really do like this. Drew, as I've mentioned earlier on in the video, has spoken about this place a lot. He's flown into here, so he's going to judge my landing. He's going to kick off at me. Not sure if I click localizer or anything, but I'm going to do it anyway. No, you don't, because nothing comes up. Let's call the cabin just to make sure they're definitely all sorted. She did tell me that the cabin was ready for landing anyway.
2,500.
So we've got ground spoilers armed, flaps are fully down, we've got auto brakes ready. Everything on the ECAM looks good. Going through this cloud now. The aircraft is maintaining its height. What have I done wrong? Do I have to tell the plane to go all that way down? So I'm 5 miles out and I'm at 2,500 feet here. Whoa. Breaking through the cloud. Come on, plane. Get us down. Is that the runway there? No. Is that the runway there? Yes, there's the runway. Okay. Right, I'm going to take over here. shut you up. Let's land a plane. I feel like we're coming in a little bit steep here. We are descending quite quickly though, so we'll keep that in. This is very Innsbruck-esque actually, isn't it, with that sort of slight turn and having a valley around you.
100 above.
Wow, I'm going to have to really crack this in. Continue. Going to give it a go. The runway looks very short from here. When I was on the ground earlier having a look at it, my God, it didn't look that short at all.
1,000.
Let's get this puppy in, shall we? I'm nervous. Very nervous. Coming down pretty quick. I'll shallow it out a little bit. Nice and smooth. Yeah, we're on 4 white on the
500.
puppies. We are still pretty high. Smooth it out to the right a little bit. Trying to line up that little screw with the centre line. Oh, very high. Putting the nose down.
Brake.
Yep, I know.
Pull up.
I'm doing it.
50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. 10, 5.
Let the auto brakes do their thing, because we do not need reverses. Oh my God, and we're off the auto brakes, letting it roll. We're going to roll all the way down to the end. Let's clean up the flaps already. Clean up the spoilers. Unreal, that. Unreal, innit? A little bit proud of that. We're going to go all the way to the end anyway. Welcome to Tivat. Welcome to Montenegro, everybody. Welcome to Montenegro, Stephen Dicey. Thank you very much for chartering this flight, mate. Much appreciated. That was easy. What are they on about? Yeah, I know I'm not the best with RNAV because I'm so used to being spoilt rotten by ILSs that I very often avoid RNAV, but sound. Okay, nose light to taxi. I said nose light to bloody taxi. Runway turn offs, put them on anyway. Landing lights will come off. Strobe goes to auto. God, it wants to turn on the ground, this thing. Flipping heck. After landing, speed brakes have been disarmed. Engine mode into normal. Flaps. TCAS goes to standby. We are going to hold short here for just a second, actually, because we need to get GSX and stuff sorted, and I do want to tidy everything up properly, so bear with me. TCAS goes to standby. We need to put that on TA anyway. APU, predicted wind shear, comes off. Need to put the APU on. Master switch, give it 3 seconds, and then press start. And then APU bleed comes on. Landing lights off, nose light to taxi, strobe light auto are off, runway turn offs come off. Cool. Then we need to get GSX. We did say we were going to go to stand 5, didn't we? Ramp 5. There's all the stuff. Banging. Right then, so how do we get into one of these spaces? Do you sort of go round and then like that? I think so. Let's give it a try. That is my favourite noise from this aircraft, that is, from inside there. It sounds absolutely outrageous. So this is stand 6. We're going to get to stand 5 in just a moment. This is going to take some manoeuvring because, like I've shown you, this thing's quite sensitive on the ground with how I've got it set up, so it will move around a lot. We'll turn the nose light off now because we don't want to blind anyone. So I'm going to turn now. Flipping it. Yeah, you can see it joins up to this. And then we're going to go round to the right. He's got a great view of it up there. Am I going sharp enough? Oh my days. Oh my days. Oh no. I know I'm going. You're over there. I know. I'm trying. Have I gone too far past it? Oh yeah. Okay. That's fine. Let's have a look outside at what that parking looks like. I mean, the nose wheel is still basically fully right, but we'll deal with that. That's not so bad. Okay, so the parking brake has gone on. Nose light is off. Runway turn-offs are off. APU bleed is already on. And then we turn engines 1 and 2 off. Absolutely love those shutdown noises. Let's get GSX ready for deboarding. We need to operate some stairs as well, as far as I know. Stairs are coming over. Brilliant. I don't think that was too bad. That was really good fun, that. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I hope you did too, everybody. And thank you once again to Stephen Dicey for chartering this flight today. You too can charter flights via my website. There's a link in the description, and there's a small fee of just £10 British via PayPal for that. Just choose where from, where to. There's a set distance. Any flights over sort of 3 hours I will reject and I will refund if they are a little bit too far, I'm afraid. So just check the mileage and obviously look at the details on the site. And yeah, I'll hopefully be doing some more flights for you guys very soon. Thoroughly enjoyed that, and I love flying the Phoenix, so if you guys pick this, I'll be very happy indeed. Not that I mind flying the 737, just the Phoenix does it a little bit more for me. Anyway, I'm going to stop warbling. Thank you very much once again. Oh, no I'm not. Wait. We need to check Volanta. I'm the first person to fly here today. What was our landing rate? -235. Not horrific. I think we did alright there, didn't we? That's sound. Anyway, from me and from the Phoenix A320 and from Tivat, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you in the next one.